Hi, we are hot off the press of our awesome Welcome to Your Pregnant Body workshop last night, and we had such a pleasure educating women on the importance of their pelvic floor and their birth prep. So here at Body Motion, you guys know we specialize in helping women prepare their pelvic floor for birth, which helps decrease the risk of tearing, really help teach you how to push, and help manage throughout labor. So if you're hoping to have a vaginal delivery, we can definitely help optimize your body to prepare you for that. So I want to side note, I didn't talk about this last night, but the C-section rate in America, I briefed on it. The last stat I saw from cesareanrates.org was that 31% of women end up with a cesarean, and that's first and second time moms, or third, fourth, fifth. So that's a high C-section rate. I read that throughout the hospitals in America, it can range all the way from 7% to 70% in certain hospitals. So when you're doing your research, if you want to have a vaginal birth, you should really, check out where you're delivering. And a hospital might not be your mojo, and you might want to choose a birth center or simply have a home birth. Everyone's decision has to be right for themselves, and I just highly suggest doing some research around that. A couple great websites to check out are Evidence-Based Birth, and they can help guide that decision-making process. And of course, you can reach out to midwives in your areas. Just because you're going to a doctor your whole life at a certain hospital system doesn't necessarily mean that you need to stay with them throughout your maternity process, because that might not be the right fit for you, even though it's the right fit for your daily care and your yearly annual checkups and all that good stuff. So that was just a little side note. What I really want to get across here is the sooner in your life that you learn to use your pelvic floor, the better your life is going to be. Truly, wholeheartedly, I believe that your pelvic floor is the basis of your core. It's the basis of your whole body. And if you're not using a certain part of your core, which many women are not, it is so hard to know how to use it. And you don't realize that you go your whole life not using this muscle or a whole group of muscles. And so simply helping prep for childbirth can be it's just so empowering. And the people that we get to work with through our prenatal nurture package or prenatal tune-up package, their outcomes are amazing, pretty much amazing. And we are super lucky to work with people who are invested in their health and really, are hoping to have a vaginal delivery and want to put in the work to do so. And there's a lot we can do with the pelvic floor to help train your pelvic floor, help train your muscles to really prepare for that vaginal birth. So yeah, I couldn't speak highly enough about it. Even people that end up with emergency cesareans, they still have that pelvic floor recruitment. They have that pelvic floor tone that's optimal and really good quality of their muscles. So their outcomes and surgical outcomes are better if they've had pelvic floor therapy in the past. So not enough good words about it. The outcomes that we see of moms that go through the prenatal nurture package that end up having successful vaginal births, minimal or no tearing at all, is high. It's amazing. And their postpartum recovery journey is just like amazing. It's substantially different because they've learned how to use this muscle. I kind of talk about the pelvic floor is like, or childbirth in general, when you're having a vaginal birth. If you tore your hamstring during, whatever, say soccer, like you play rec soccer and you tear your hamstring, and then after that tear, you can't walk for a while. But it gets better, you can walk, but you still can't go back to playing soccer. So you go to physical therapy to get that scar worked out. You get all that stuff worked out so that you can start retraining your hamstring to get you back on the soccer field. Well, the pelvic floor is the same thing. You have a vaginal birth, it overstretches. Even if you don't tear, you might have like micro tears just from the overstretching. And it comes back together. And a lot of times for many women, it almost seizes up, gets really tight to compensate for its weakness and scar tissue. And so, and you can go 10 years with that compensation, but eventually the urine will start to leak through. Your core won't be as strong, so you'll start to feel it in your hips and your knees, and all the other joints as well. So the goal is that, okay, let's heal that scar tissue, heal the pelvic floor, so we don't have to deal with these compensations 10 years down the road. The women who can take care of their pelvic floor after and like help retrain and methodically rebuild their core after childbirth, amazing outcomes. They can be running a marathon in a year, you know? But if they run a marathon right after, who knows how their pelvic floor is gripping onto their organs for dear life, just trying to keep them inside their body. We don't want that to be the case. We want the pelvic floor to be a healthy, dynamic muscle that can be the shock absorber part of your core. And if there's a ton of scar tissue or it's super tight, it's just not going to have, that mobility. So postpartum, really, that's the goal. And so all I'm saying is if you did this to your hamstring, you'd have some help. But since it happens to the vagina, we don't always get the help that we need, because it's just, it's not that common. So it is so beneficial, ultimately, absolutely life-changing and transformative. So if you can start early, start during preconception, start during pregnancy, it will help that postpartum journey so much so. All right, hope this video finds you well. If you have any questions, let us know.